Welcome to another episode of Dad's Rules with Kevin Belzer. Today I'm joined by Melissa Belzer.
Hey,
You just call me weird.
you are sometimes.
Whatever. Okay, so we almost didn't have this episode today because I was told I was supposed to get the podcast that I was on the other day. I was supposed to get that back so I could post it on here instead of us sitting down and doing an episode.
Okay.
I don't have that yet. So
Okay.
you get a normal episode. And the funny thing is I'm actually waiting on a few guest ones I've appeared on that I've never ever gotten sent over to me so I could actually, cross promote and all that.
Okay.
But that's fine. I'm always available to just talk to myself and you.
Yeah. And me, okay.
Well, sometimes I talk to myself.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? So anyway, the podcast I was on, it was funny. Before it started, I sent him a text and I go, "Hey, if you want, you can send it over to me and I'll share on my podcast."
Yeah, makes sense.
And he goes, "Well, these are usually like 3 to 5 minutes." And I'm like, "You've never, ever had me on a podcast or done a podcast with me to know that is not physically possible to only have a 3 to 5 minute podcast."
Sounds like a challenge.
It was a challenge, and I'm kind of ornery. So it did end up being a little bit over 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
But I thought it was all good. It was actually behind the scenes of my real estate career. So, because I don't really talk about that a lot on here. I mean, I talk about some of it, but I've never had somebody question me on stuff for 20 plus minutes.
Yeah.
Pick my brain. That's only happened a few times ever.
Okay.
This is episode 244. I do not think that I mentioned that. And before we could start episode 244, I had to go brush my teeth. Our dog is trying to ram the door down.
Break in.
That's fine.
But anyway, coming in this time.
I had to brush my teeth.
Okay.
And you're probably wondering, there you go.
Why did you have to brush your teeth?
There, you caught the cue.
Yeah.
I had to brush my teeth because I had stuff stuck in my teeth. But it was healthy stuff. So it's not like that later on you'll get a surprise of something. You're like, "Ooh, I really like that." And you got a little bit more of it. It wasn't that. It was one of those, I just need to brush this good food out of my teeth so I can move on with my life. It got me thinking. The other day, we went to Yard House in Glendale before we went to a concert. And we were joking there because I had a BLT and French fries.
Mm-hmm.
And I was joking that, hey, it's okay if the bacon gets stuck in my teeth because partway through the concert, if I pull a piece of bacon out, it's like, I got bacon again.
Yikes.
And that's okay because bacon is one of the food groups.
Yeah.
My food group pyramid is slightly different than Elf's.
A little bit.
And what's Elf's?
Candy cane, candy corns, and syrup.
There you go.
Gee, I don't like that movie at all. I love that movie so much.
So we saw a concert the other day.
We did, and it was amazing.
Who did we see?
We saw Mercy Me and Big Daddy Weave and Sam Wesley and Tim Timmons.
I'm wearing Sam's shirt.
I wore the other shirt yesterday.
See, I'm wearing Sam's.
Yeah, and
shirt.
Tim Timmons. It was all good.
It won't all fit in one frame, so I've got to do this so you can see it.
It was really good. That concert was just fun, and I was so glad when we were I was happy.
Sam is Bart's son, and you're like, who's Bart?
Who's Bart?
Bart is the lead singer of Mercy Me. Mercy Me has been around since 1994. Yeah, 32 years. 32 years. 1994. Big Daddy Weave opened for them way back in the day, 20 some years ago, and they told the story about how they got the name of their band. So they just formed a band, didn't have a name yet, and they were 2 weeks later were told, "Hey, there's this band coming into town. Do you guys want to open for them?" And they're like, "Sure, we just formed a band 2 weeks ago. It kind of makes sense that we would immediately be an opener for a nationally touring act." So yeah, we're for it. And they're like, "What would you like to call the band?" And they didn't have a name. And he's like, "Well, I'm a big guy. And if you're a big guy down in Alabama, they call you Big Daddy." And my last name was Weaver. So I was like, I just took the R off and I had Weave.
Because they chop it off like that sometimes when you, hey, Weave.
So he's like, Big Daddy Weave. He goes, now here's the issue.
That was so good.
You got to be very careful when to pick the name of your band, because if the band doesn't break up, you were stuck with that 20 some years later, which is exactly how it played out. Because I always wonder, I'm like, why Big Daddy Weave? Now you know.
Hey, but it's stuck and it's good.
Yeah, so Sam Wesley opened and Tim Timmons played with him as well. Mm-hmm. And then it was Big Daddy Weave. And then Mercy Me played last. And we got out of there at like 11.
Which surprised me somehow. Somehow I did not think it was going to go that late. It was so odd. It started at 7.
Yeah, it started at 7. We walked in. They actually started on time. We walked in and the first song was already going on because it took forever for us to get our check across
at the restaurant.
Yeah.
They're busy, to be fair.
Yeah.
They were slammed. It was an hour wait to get in.
Well, so. the wait list always hovered around 70 to 100 groups.
It's such a good place to eat, though. I love going there.
It's good, and it's not, I like to say it's not too expensive. It's a Yard House, and it's walking distance to the venue.
That's it.
And the food's good. But for 4 people, with tip and everything, it was $112. And I hate to say it, but in today's world, for a sit-down place that actually has decent food, that's not bad to be right about with tip and everything.
And
$30.
Including the tip is pretty awesome.
Yeah, for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a planned expense, so like whatever. It was good. I don't know. We just had so much fun. So much fun.
We did, and we got home really late. It was way after midnight by the time we went to sleep. I got 4-ish hours sleep, something like that, and needed 3 energy drinks to make it through the next day. But that's life sometimes.
Well, I think we all took naps sometime over the weekend. I was talking to our friends too, and they were both like, wow, because we were just moving the whole time. It was such a fun concert. We were just tired, but it was worth it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, moving along, okay. I'm reading, this is one of the books I'm reading. I'm reading several right now, but this is Core 52. This is by Mark Moore. Get my fingers out of the way. Mark Moore he's one of the teaching pastors at CCV. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go off a tangent because I never do that. But I'm going to go off on a tangent and say that somebody posted a day and goes, I like going to CCV because they really don't teach from the Bible. And I was like, they're not too Bible-y. That's what they said. And I was like, they literally teach from the Bible.
Literally God's word.
Every week. And
so it made me laugh.
I was like, huh? Didn't we just go through Genesis and then go through Revelation?
Yep.
I'm like, huh. So we did the first book and the last book of the Bible, but yeah, we never teach from the Bible.
It was weird. It just made us laugh.
It's very weird.
Okay, whatever.
And the funny thing is that, okay, this is Mark Moore's book. So Mark Moore is one of the teaching pastors there. He does about every 3rd or 4th sermon is him.
Rotate, yeah.
Yeah. So he's one of the pastors there. He, for 2 decades, he was a professor, a New Testament professor at Ozark Christian College.
Oh, cool. I didn't know which college.
Yeah. So he literally taught the Bible in college.
Ozark makes sense.
Ozark Christian College. But I think...
Missouri, because he was in Joplin.
Is it Missouri?
Yeah, it should be Missouri.
Where is Ozark Christian College? It's trying to give me the hours available. Where in the country is Ozark Christian College?
Because people are screaming at the podcast.
Oh my gosh. No, I want to know for sure.
The map's up there. Is that us?
Joplin, Missouri.
Yeah, yes, because he talks about the Joplin tornado. He was in it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I forgot about that.
So I just put that together right now. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was reading this earlier, and you know how your brain sometimes wants to finish or make the word or the sentence or whatever before you've actually read all of it. It's like it's assuming things going forward. You never notice that?
Oh, like
you'll read a word. And the word could be one thing, but you say out loud a different word, or your brain reads it different.
Okay.
Because your brain is like moving faster than your eyes, basically.
That makes sense. Okay.
Okay. So this was the paragraph that I thought it said.
Okay.
Okay. We certainly need God's protection in our current culture. We need protection from Santa, from society, and even from our own Sid. We're under attack from every corner. And I'm like,
Yes.
what?
Yes, from Santa.
I need protection from Santa.
It's
what would elf say about this?
It's like predictive text for your brain.
I was like, and then I went back and I'm like, oh, Satan.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that made way more sense.
Way more sense.
I was like, maybe I'm done reading that for the day if I'm replacing that.
Predictive text for your brain.
Yeah.
Only it's not very predictive. It's not correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am working on a couple new books, and one I won't tell you what it's about at all, but it is I've been for like 60 days stuck on page 44.
Okay.
Which is kind of stupid because I have the whole thing outlined all the way to the end.
Okay.
But I just haven't had the motivation, I guess, to.
Fair.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to stop here for a while. And I've done that occasionally, like quite a bit on other books too. So I guess I'm kind of okay with that. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's not even motivation. It's probably more clarity. Like, you know where you're going, but not exactly.
I do. And actually where I'm struggling with this one is that I feel like there's potatoes, but not enough meat in it. And so I am stalling out going, how do I fix this? Or do I just continue on, write it all, treat it like a first draft, and then
edit from there? Yeah,
edit it up from there. Not edit it down, but edit it up.
Too much side dish and not enough main course. Okay.
That's where I feel like I'm at. Okay. It's like each chapter is starting the way I want it to, and it's following a pattern. So that's not the problem. It's the body inside of there to where I'm like, this is like, it's just missing something, and it's bothering me because it's like, it's a nonfiction book. I want to get it right immediately. Sure. It's a one-off topic that will never have a continuation of another thing off of it, period. It's not a dad's rules. Right. I can tell you that. I'm also working on another book, and this one I will tell you about.
Okay.
What? I'm already 50 some pages in it this week.
This is great.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're saying. You were supposed to tell me.
Because you're saying like, oh, okay.
No, I didn't know you were writing a second one.
Yeah. Continue. So this one is fiction.
Okay.
This one is a murder mystery.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's around a real estate agent. Okay. Because it's kind of my wheelhouse.
Of course.
But it's around a real estate agent, and it's a murder mystery, and this would be the first book in a series of books. But this is where I'm at right now. That's what I'm working on. And I'll probably have it done within the next week or so, because it's just going along great. And the only thing that slowed me down, because I had time between appointments today, so I was working on it on my iPad, and I had time in between appointments today, and I started adding additional characters into it because I was like, there's not enough characters in this. And mind you, there's already like 12 characters in this. But I was like, no, it needs 2 more.
I just had a movie tagline pop into my head. He got tired of selling homes, so he sold his soul.
Yeah, that's a horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
The main character's name.
Murder mystery.
The main character's name is Vera Nightingale.
Okay.
That's her name.
All right.
Okay. That's her name. I think it's a great name.
Nightingale?
Nightingale. Yep. Because it has to be something that, just different.
I don't know if that's very different, but okay.
I think it's different.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, Vera.
There are other Nightingale characters that have come along in books. That's why I'm surprised that you chose that one.
I like it.
Okay. No, I'm just surprised you chose that.
It works for me.
That's fine.
Yep. And I also wanted an old-timey name.
Well, Vera's the old-timey name, but Nightingale is like a hugely popular name.
And it's not in Arizona either.
Okay.
It's in the Midwest.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Made up town and everything. And here was the funny thing that I did today is 4 chapters done in it. I decided I didn't like the name of the town, and I changed the name of the town. I was like, that doesn't work for me, because I was looking at it and I was like, I can see people looking at that name and going, is it pronounced this way or that way? Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's not going to work for me. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I'm like, I need something better. So and it had to be made up. So I had to make sure that the city didn't exist
Anywhere?
In it just in Illinois, because it's in Illinois.
Oh.
So I just had to make sure it didn't exist in Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you said nowhere, it's like there are cities across the country that are in other states. Like,
well, sure,
I can think of 3 Burlingtons off the top of my head.
There's more than one Paris.
There's a Paris, Texas, a Paris, Illinois,
and there's one more.
I don't know where else.
Trying to bite the door.
Yeah, our dog is freaking insane.
Yeah, so no, I know there's we'd go through the atlas and see how many names would show up in other states. So yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, what about this?
Yeah, but Arizona's funny how few there are.
Yeah.
Because you'd think there'd be a ton. And then there's a lot, there's actually quite a few in Arizona that are abandoned. Like they're all ghost towns at this point.
They just don't exist. You can't buy them. You can't.
There are a
them?
few that have been bought that have like a handful of people, but their business is like tourism and stuff like that. And honestly, some of them, it's like they're so difficult to get to. Why anybody would want to live there is beyond me.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't, but nobody asked me.
Well, and just because you wouldn't doesn't mean somebody wouldn't.
There are a lot of people that do van life, as I'm talking off camera.
Yeah, it's okay.
There are a lot of people that do like van life and stuff that they would be okay with that kind of existence.
Yeah.
Again,
so
my idea of roughing it is a hotel with no pool. So
yeah, no pool, no hot tub. That is roughing it.
No continental breakfast. Ugh. The struggle is real.
I mean, just a bed to sleep on?
Yeah.
It's fine. Whatever. It depends what we're doing. If I'm not going to spend very much time in the room, then just give me a room and I'm going to have to do what I'm doing. If I'm hanging out on vacation, I want amenities.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. It does really get down to what you're going to be doing. Because if you're going to be busy and stuff, it doesn't really matter.
Just need a bed.
There's also like we've done Residence Inn where we just would show up to sleep and cook.
Yeah.
And because we're there for 11 days or whatever.
Yeah.
So we've done that.
Yeah.
As well, but it's not like Residence Inn is that fancy.
Right. No, but it was fine though. I didn't mind it.
There was nothing really wrong with it.
It's just not I don't know what's a fancy hotel anymore.
Hilton.
It wasn't a Hilton, but it was no Motel 6 or Super 8 either. It was nice.
And I'll tell you what, it wasn't a Holiday Inn Express either because I did not have some great skill the next day, like surgeon or whatnot. So,
and it was no unnamed reminded hotel with no elevator and poor customer service.
American.
I wasn't gonna say because
I'm gonna say
I don't want to drag all the other ones through the mud for the one.
No, that's on a podcast from like 100 episodes ago.
Well, they can go find it, but
they can kiss my grits.
I don't. That particular one was.
Something. All right, can you rapid fire through some cards?
Well, let's hope so.
The first one is a red card that kind of looks orangey on the camera.
A Carmine card. I don't know.
Beliefs. What do you have absolute faith in? Jesus.
Done.
The next one is a light blue card, and this one is courage. Who is the strongest person you know, and how do you wish you were more like them?
Strongest person I know.
I would go old school on this, and I would actually say...
I'm wondering if you're going to think of the same person I'm thinking of. Who?
My grandma Lefevre.
Oh, okay.
I would pick my grandma Lefevre because the things that she went through, like she went through the Depression growing up.
Yeah.
Obviously, the rationing of World War II, the being with my grandpa as he built multiple businesses, his farm, everything else. The loss of a child within the first month of birth. My mom dying while she was still alive. My aunt going through MS. And then she still always had the strength and faith. That's incredible to me.
Yeah. Okay. I'll hop on that train. You made some valid points. Like my really both of my grandmothers, But even my maternal grandmother, she lived to be 101, and she'd been through a lot. You know, she was born in 1910, so all the, you know, the changes and all the things, and, you know, divorce, I guess, and then remarried, and then widowed, and then she'd been through a lot. So
she was born in 1910. Yeah, because we went up there in 2011 or 2010. Yeah, we went up to there in 2010. Think about that. 1910, you barely had the invention of the airplane.
Yeah.
People still thought you were crazy if your car did over 25, 30 miles per hour, that you were going to die. It was literally going to rip you apart.
My grandma did like cars, I guess.
She did?
Well, she had like a Catalina or something. It was cool.
You went through the Roaring 20s, the Depression, World War I, World War I and World War II. She would have been old enough to remember both.
Yeah. Wasn't the stock market crash?
My gosh! Then she even saw the hippies and the weirdness of the 70s, the music of the 80s.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, like also like computers and cell phones and TVs. Like when she was born, TVs didn't exist.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to think. I don't really think about all that. Yeah, that's kind of weird for me.
Yeah, when you start
think
like I just got done reading. Just got done reading the best autobiography of all time. This is Rickenbacker by Eddie Rickenbacker, and
I need somebody to reissue it.
His last chapter in there, he makes predictions, and he made these predictions in 1973, and it's funny to see what does happen based off his predictions and what didn't happen because government got in the way with their stupid regulations and everything else. Well, because like back when he learned to fly and stuff, it's like it wasn't uncommon for people just to have a plane,
hop in it like a car.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
That's so crazy. When you're reading the book, you're like, yeah, you just hop on a plane, just go somewhere. Yeah, so absolutely nuts. But it is crazy when you think about how many things change over a lifetime.
Yeah, especially one that's long. That's that long.
Next card.
Okay.
Next card is green.
Verde.
Exposed. What's the saddest memory from your childhood? Well, this is nice and depressing. I think that my earliest recollection of somebody dying that I personally knew, not on TV, not anything like that,
celebrity.
But it'd be not a celebrity. It has to be somebody that you personally know. Mine would probably be when my dad's mom died, because I remember my mom holding me and I'm crying because she's the one that taught me how to play cards. She smoked like crazy. But yeah, she lived in the same small town my dad lived in, but it's probably that. So yeah, real downer of a topic there.
I know, but I like mine. I don't think like one of mine. It's not. It's a dog. My uncle's dog. It was sort of traumatizing for me, and seeing. I can still very vividly just seeing the like panic hurt because he saw his dog get hit. I think he saw the dog get hit or found the dog get hit. And he's carrying the dog, and I can see the frantic in both their faces. And I don't know if I could figure out how young I was, but it was sort of like not traumatizing, but like just witnessing that as an event. And my uncle my uncle's was always very calm and soft spoken and just very kind and whatever. And for him to just be screaming for my aunt, and the dog is just bleeding out of its mouth. And so it was just a very traumatic event overall, and I was just like, my heart was broken for him because this was his dog, nothing happened to my cousins like that, but his dog, and just the whole scene, just really, it's hard for me to even forget about that because it was just so like, oh my gosh.
Next card is yellow. This one is, gosh, they wrote it in yellow. What does that say? Life lessons. What choice had the greatest impact on your life? Moving to Arizona. Boom. Yep, that's a pretty simple one. We talked about that on prior episodes, but wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, it's like exactly.
Dark blue. Dark blue is self-awareness.
Okay.
What act of self-care should become a non-negotiable in your life? Well, for me, it's walking. It's walking every day because it does actually, it's almost like recalibrating me, recentering me, just going on a walk.
Mine I can't do right now, and I miss it, and I can just remember it like when I would be off shift on a Saturday, because that was when he was closed on Sundays. I would come home, I would soak in this hot bathtub with soap that smelled good and just tunes, and I would just be soaking in there, and then I'd get out, dry off, and I was warm and cozy, and I was actually sleepy, and I slept the best on the Saturday nights when I did that. So I miss that. I want to get back to that.
Last one. It's Grey. Grey. Dreams. If you had to switch places with another person, who would you choose and why? Switch places. I mean, like not on a permanent basis, because I think some people would be absolutely exhausting to be in.
I don't think they mean permanent, just to see, maybe. We can add that, just to see what it's like.
Switch places with another person, who would you choose and why?
God, there are a lot of choices.
There are, because you could look at it that, like, could you switch places with somebody and actually gain more respect for what they do? Imagine if you switch places with, like, your pastor.
Yeah.
And you switch places for 1 week. I think you'd have a deeper appreciation, because I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago whose husband wants to get back into working with the church and in the church, and it is kind of thankless. I mean, a lot of people just take advantage of them, their time, work them to death, and they get burned out, and it doesn't exactly pay that well.
No, and I think our church is being intentional about changing and trying to shift people from getting burned out by making them take their time off, because before they'd be like, now they're like, you got to schedule it, pick your days, and then the next person pick your days. Our
turnover, just like every church, was insane because of that.
I think it's come to a really way slowed down. We're not seeing turnover like we were before.
No, we're not.
Gosh, switch places with a person. That's a hard one. Darla. Coddling.
Oh, okay.
She's just very interesting. She's just interesting. She has all these skills. She can craft and sew and do all these things, and she does fun things. She's a great hostess. She does all these things, and it just seems like I would love to be that when she's in the craft mode, just so I can see how she does the craft stuff. She's so talented. She can paint. She can decorate her home. She's an interior designer, decorator. She's just really creative, and I love seeing all the things, like when she posts about stuff that she makes. It's just awesome.
I think what would be extra cool is that whoever you switch with, you got their skills. You were learning them and got to retain them. Yeah.
Then I definitely would say that, because I would want those skills.
Yeah.
She builds stuff. She's awesome.
Yep. All right. We're going to wrap it up there. If you like the show, share, comment, review, feedback. If you don't like the show, share, comment, leave feedback.
Do all the things besides like it.
You can like it too, even if you don't like it.
If you don't like it,
just fake it.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, that's solid advice. We should talk about that sometime.
Hey, people say it all the time.
They do. Doesn't make it true.
No, it doesn't make it true.
So until next time, go out and be the kick-ass adult I know you all can be.